Hey, you guys. Hello? We are testing live. Hey, you guys. Hello? We are testing live. Hey, you guys. Are we live? Are we back on? I'll give it a moment. Still running some issues. Okay. Let's fix that one more time. Okay, we're gonna try this one more time.
A CRM shouldn't weigh your budget down. It should lift your teams up. A CRM shouldn't hide fees. It should save you money.
Looks like it's running better.
A CRM shouldn't slam you with add-ons. It should work with the tools you need. A CRM shouldn't leave you in the dark. It should deliver insights clear as day.
Okay, let's share this. Hey guys, hey Eddie, hi, hola, ¿cómo están? So I'm sharing this right now to Facebook. Bear with me, I'm having some difficulties with this crap. But we're gonna be back online real quick. I'd love to share this with you guys, and we're just having a bad day with everything. As soon as I had everything working, it all crashed down. So I figured out the problem. And that's all that matters. So I believe that does it. Okay, we're gonna do one thing real quick because this is just really messed up. I'm gonna delete that. Okay, I think we're back. We are here, we are live, we're actually working now. My system's not freaking out anymore. And that's what we want, right? Gosh. Okay, so I'm happy that this is working now, and now I'm just making sure everything's all good. Facebook's not giving me a hard time. We are straight. I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. Okay, I'm just gonna wait till anybody gets in. Before I start again, let's fast recap. I started doing cell phone repair back in 2011. I pivoted into refurbishing in 2014. Refurbishing, if you don't know, it's basically the glass only removal of the display, and this, essentially from phone LCD parts, this right here. So essentially, what we do here as a refurbisher, we remove the glass off of a $200 to $300 display. These things can get very expensive. However, that I'm only talking about the OEM original, not the aftermarkets. The aftermarkets, they run cheaper. But there's a dilemma in our industry right now, and it's going to be a little bit questionable on the discussions that I'm going to be bringing up to. It really is. And let me see if I can fix this here. Okay. So let's get this taken care of, you guys. Everything's all good. Okay, perfect. So to begin, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. What I'm going to be talking about is why the industry feels like it's stagnating. Why does it feel like we're going into a slowdown? What's really happening, And I'm gonna be bringing up some dramatic points, and hopefully you guys don't crucify me for this. This is just the factual stuff that I've looked into, and this is I haven't even eaten today. I've been trying to get this all figured out last minute for you guys, and I've been getting through some crazy hurdles, but we're finally live and we're finally got this taken care of. So good, great, awesome. So some of the stuff that I'm going to be bringing up is questionable, and some of this stuff is theory, and I am going to be talking about scenarios where we can go as an industry, right? On how we can be better overall, if that makes any sense, right? And before, let me just get this charging cable because my thing's about to die. I had some of you guys as viewers fall out, and I promised that I was going to be making this video today, which I am, but I just didn't foresee that I was going to have issues doing this video. If you guys are still with me, it's almost 10 p.m. at night, and you guys can see the video live when it eventually finishes on Facebook or whatever, you know. Anyways, I'll have the link for you guys, so you guys can always come up to this video at any time. So thank you again. I'm gonna do some shout outs to Tony, Sideshuck, Eddie, all you guys, Eric Hodek, Milton, Onder over at Phone LCD Parts. I want to make a shout out to everybody that's out that I know. You know, Xian, you know, great refurbisher, amazing refurbisher. Alex Zavala's amazing refurbisher. Gosh, who comes into my head before we start? You know, the guys over at Phone LCD Parts, amazing. Again, that's once already. I said, what's your name? Gosh, I can't remember all you guys' names. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Christy Brisky, you're always so talented. I love the stuff that you always bring up. Milton, you're always so knowledgeable about everything's going on, and Eric, you always bring the know-how on what's happening, and you're always pushing everybody to do the Google ads. The Google reviews. The Google reviews are so important. Oh man. But so many of you guys are in the industry. Who was I talking to lately? Let's see here. Tony Baker, Manny, Tamer, Brandon Ragsdale, you know, Nick Bauman, always amazing to see you. JJ Brown, sorry. You know, and I do see some great business owners really just taking off. And look at Jeff Sandridge. He has a store over in I believe in Alabama, doing amazing stuff. You know. In any case, let's move forward, shall we? And talk about what's going on here, right? What's happening. So just wondering why my is it oh no, it's getting the wrong source. Where's the right source? not the right source, you guys. Let me get the right source. No. Huh. Okay, properties. Hi Shan, how you doing? There we go. Perfect, we got that working now. Let's go back to docs. Doc, this is just my day. Properties. Okay. Right here, let's fix that right now. Properties. Where are you? Nope. Huh. Okay, I fixed the YouTube part of it, but the Facebook is not showing up. Okay, we are. No. Nope. Google Chrome's not even appearing. There we go. Found you. Okay. Gosh, darn it. Okay. Let's get this guy a little shrunken down so we can see. I'm not even gonna make excuses for this because, you know, this system is just, it's stupid how it works. Any case, let's begin. The Shark Empire, right? How many of you guys are on the chat? So if you guys can see here. Okay. Industry stagnation and review and tiers. Why 90% of repair shops are stuck in stagnation trap? what's happening, you know? And maybe skip this commercial right here. The mom and pop shops, 65% of mom and pop shops are making $10,000 to $20,000 monthly. Standard independent stores that are doing a little bit better, they're making $25,000 to $40,000 monthly. I mean, 25% of across all United States is making a little bit over $25,000 to $40,000. If you're in this range, you're doing amazing. But if you want to be the top tier, that top 10% that's making $50,000 plus a month, that's you are in the epilogue of like cell phone repairs. You guys are just like kicking ass, and it's tough. How do you get to that position? How do you go from the regular 65% of shops to the 10% elites? You know, and this video, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm trying to figure out that even myself. I don't want to share that information to you guys just yet while I'm just testing these playgrounds. And there's people a lot more smarter than me, a lot more connected, and has more access than I do that are at the 10%, right? And unfortunately, I'm not there. I'm not there, and I want to be there. You know, I've always been in the standard independent of 25 to 40,000 route, and that's where I've kind of floated. However, the 65% is the majority of the repair shops. And I'm not gonna be here telling you this is how you're supposed to run your shop. No, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person that tells you this is how it's supposed to be done. This is the way it should be. I don't want to say this is. We all have our way of running things, and it could work for you. It could work for me. And I'm not gonna be playing that person that this is how you should be doing it. That's not me. You know, I don't want that to be reflected towards me onto you. I don't want to be telling you how to run your business. I don't want to say this is you should be doing. I don't want to be doing this, you know, not like that. You know? So again, that's where we're at, right? And this is the monthly average breakdown, you know, of repairs. We all know that 62% of all repairs are screen replacements. That's like our bread and butter, you know, like seriously, that's really our stuff that we make our money from. Every single repair shop out there right now is literally making most of the money from screen replacements. Then we have battery replacement. That takes 18% of our overall repairs, you know? And then from 18% is our charging ports, our charging docks, whatever you want to call it, 8%. Weird glass, like if you have the laser machine, you can basically fix like for instance, literally mine is broken right here. The back glass of an iPhone, you know? Very common. Most of the stuff that gets broken is external, obviously, of the phone. And yeah, rear glass replacement, liquid glass, that represents 3% of the business. Cameras, small parts, represents 3% of the business. And logic port repair, like the really advanced stuff, the stuff that you have to send out or you have to learn, you know? And that's for me where I've been like apprehensive. Like, do I even think it's worth for me learning advanced micro soldering? I mean, the writing's on the wall. 1%? Am I even gonna, like, is it worth it? My time to learn? I'm gonna dedicate 6 months of my time learning, going through rigorous training, you know, damaging, breaking, you know, the trials of tribulation, just to do 1% of what's coming in? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna. I got into refurbishing of screen glass replacement because look, you know, volume, reward, the glass only. Like, dude, the money's literally on this. The math is right there. Let me get some. You know, I hope you guys like my glass of jar of water. Because I'm about to lose my voice just saying this to you guys, right? Anyways, let's move on to the next point. These are your big six that I know of. There's probably a lot more suppliers out there, but this is your big six. Your big six. Mobile Centrics, Injured Gadgets, Phone LCD Parts, Gadget Fix. If you're in California, out in the West, these guys are my homies. You know, I love these guys. Mentor, Wholesale Gadgets. The Wholesale Gadgets is like in the middle of United States. Phone LCD Parts. You guys, you have a special part in my, in my heart, place in my heart. You know, and you guys got, these are all the heavy hitters that I personally know of. I'm sure there's more heavy hitters out there, but this is what comes to my mind immediately. And check out the screen market benchmark. So all of these conglomerate suppliers, these are the prices that every single supplier that you see in the market sells the parts to you. You, the cell phone shop owner or runner or manager, are going to be buying your parts around these prices. There's going to be the aftermarket price, the premium OLED aftermarket price, and then the OEM / refurbished, which is the most expensive part, which is the part that not a lot of customers are gonna go for. 80% and 90% of your customers are not gonna go for the OEM refurbished. Heck no, that's why would they? You know, you can be structured and be like, yes, you know, you want to have those higher end repairs, and it may very well work for you. The 25% of you and the 10% of you, it is working great for you. But the 65% of guys, like, it's not working for them. They're gonna either use the cheapest of the cheap or the aftermarket premium. And this shows, and this is what our suppliers are supplying us. All the suppliers, they're competing with prices, and they have to. They're trying to win you as a shop owner to buy from them. And when everybody's buying from the same supplier that's providing these similar prices, what does that make to our market? It makes our market stagnate. Okay? Are we following here? This creates market control. The price parity illusion, the stagnation loop, when every shop in a 5-mile radius has the same landed cost for an iPhone 15 screen, price becomes the only lever leading the race to the bottom in margins. Let me say that again. The race to the bottom. That's what we're doing for the 65%ers. And it sucks. It sucks. You know? There's zero differentiations. When your costs are the same as the guy across the street, you aren't competing as a tech anymore. You're competing on who survives in the thinnest margins. You know? It is what it is. Like, it's crazy, dude. You know? Price parity trap. The suppliers keep the prices hyper competitive with each other because they all sell the same parts to everyone. No single shop has a secret weapon or a sustainable cost advantage. Like, seriously, guys. That's what we're facing here. What's going on? This is what's going on. Like, duh. The homie, your best friend, or whoever, you know, your competitor, that's doing the iPhone 16 and you're doing the iPhone 16, and the part is the cost of that they got the part for, and you got the cost of your part is the same thing, you know, and it cuts out the refurbisher because the refurbisher is gonna want to make money through the original OEM, but like like I just said, everybody's gonna go to the aftermarket premium. It cuts the refurbisher out, like it cuts me out. The guy that's been refurbished, maybe back in 2016 when we were really killing it. Not anymore. Not anymore. 10 years ago, back in 2016, this was not even possible. It was either the aftermarket crappy cheap incel or the OEM refurbished. There was nothing in between. Us refurbishers, we filled the gap. That's why refurbishing was so great. That's why refurbishing was awesome. We were killing it. So, yeah. The death of advanced revenge, like Edge, plug and play commoditized expertise by selling the IC chip ready pre-programmed screens. Like even if I knew how to solder like these microchips, you know, on these boards, why? And you want to know what I'm talking about? Let me grab the IC chip, right? If you're a micro solderer, right, you're gonna replace this chip onto an aftermarket chip or another chip, whatever. Why do you want to do that? Because that chip, this chip guy right here, is gonna say that the display is genuine or not. If it's a non-genuine display, your customers will be like, "Hey, dude, you know, like, what's up? I thought you gave me good quality parts. The screen, the phone is telling me that, you know, non-genuine display issue." Like, I'll show you right now. Let me show you. Non-genuine display iPhone images. Let's look at it right now. Boom. Right here. Right here. This is the death of of all your customers, and they're gonna be like, what does this mean? What? And then like, oh well, you know, you're gonna make up some story to your customer. You're like, oh, you know, it's still good quality, you know, you still got your 3-month warranty, boom boom boom, here it is. You know, oh, okay, just press okay and that's it. You know, but this freaks your customers out, right? And we had a pivot. You know, we had advanced text removing that chip so that message doesn't appear, right? But now these suppliers are gotten so good, so advanced, they cut me out. Why do I have to refurbish? They got the AM aftermarket OLED displays, which is amazing. They're hitting 1 million color contrasts. They're hitting 120 hertz. Like, dude, what else do you want? They're hitting every note of the technology behind the original display. And not only that, they got the aftermarket with IC ready chips. Like, dude, forget me refurbishing and forget me soldering. Like, why do I even need to learn how to solder? It's right there. The part is right there. and so the suppliers have it packaged for the expertise of an advanced technician into a $120 part that a rookie can install. Any rookie can do it. Refurbishing is nullified. High-skill craft has turned into a plug-and-play commodity, removing the technical moat for independent shops. Reality check. Your profit isn't the repair. It's how fast you flip the screen and how well you sell a $50 diamond grade screen protector that costed you like $3, you know? Like, seriously, you guys, isn't that so funny? This is what it's come down to. You know, you guys are forced to upsell a diamond grade screen protector to your customer so you can make the actual money, you know? Like, duh, right? A $3 part that it costed you, you know, maybe cheaper than that, you know? Oh, let me go back. You aren't a technician anymore. You're a logistics and customer service manager. Your profit isn't in the repair. It's to flip and upsell. That's it. That's all it is for the 65% of you guys. And that sucks. What are we going to do? The insurance gap and monopoly. These insurance companies, they're killing you guys. They're killing all of us. You know? How do you tap into that? How do you get into this? Because these insurances figured it out, and it was coming. You know, it was coming. Asurion, Allstate, Square Trade, AppleCare Plus. You know, they own the primary insurance relationships independent shops lack. The robust administrative systems for compliance and underwriting. Without a recurring $10 monthly protection plan model, you are 100% dependent on someone's screen breaking today to pay your rent. 85%, like, it's crazy, dude. You know, the free market. You know what the people that refurbish and microsolder do? Like the height, they pivoted. They're like, forget this. You know, fiscal boards, they pivoted. You know, no cheap part from a supplier. You can't find the cheap parts from suppliers. They're doing their data recoveries, and they're doing B2B. Okay, this is the death of the glass only. You know, like for me doing the glass only. You know, like I still do it. It's not too crazy, but it's not like my main thing anymore. I don't even like. It's not my main thing anymore. You know, it used to be my main thing for 8 years. More than that. Almost 10. And look at this. The glass only refurb trap. Glass only takes 45 minutes to 90 minutes and requires expensive machinery. One slip of, and that kills, one slip of your wire when you're doing your wire work, it kills the 150 to 350 display and the original panel. Too much risk. Now, all you got to do, the volume win, in the time that it takes to do one glass only refurb, you can do 3 premium aftermarket OLEDs swaps. The volume always wins. Why refurb when you can do it that way? You know, you're going to save a few bucks. You know, the time required 45, 90 minutes. The AM takes about 15 minutes. You know, the risk factor, if you refurb, it's high, you know, whatever. Your wire separation, it's low. It's just a stupid part that costed you 120 bucks, you know? Failure costs 100. The replacement part, if the part is bad, all you got to do is like complain to your supplier, like, hey man, you gave me a faulty screen here. You know, your screen that you gave me, it's faulty. You know, scalability is slow, dude. You can't scale. I tried scaling glass only refurbishing. It's hard, dude. The most I've refurbished for stores was 5 unique clients. I was doing great. I was happy, but it wasn't sustainable by no means. You know, so yeah, the writing's on the wall. You know, IC chip integration has made level 1 techs as effective as level 3 techs for parts with new chips, genuine repairs. Like literally, dude, for real. Nationwide industry statistics. You know, total U.S. shop count. The franchises, there's 15% of you guys, franchise owners. You break, I fix, CPR, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, the independents, we're at 70%. We're dominating. And then, you know, you got your special mobilized units that, you know, like to be mobile and lab focused, blah, blah, blah. 15% of you. I mean, it's pretty strong within, the force is strong with you guys, I have to say. The market size is 4.5 billion and growing. And overall stores, there's 9,000, almost 10,000 stores nationwide. 10,000 stores nationwide. That's wow. And between almost 10,000, 15 of you are franchises, 15 of you are mobile experts. The 70 of you, the you bunches over there that I'm seeing at you, we're the majority. You know? This is the craziness, you guys. The supply and software loop. The order sync pipeline. Repair desk, repair shop, or whatever POS you're using, they're hardwired to the big six suppliers. They pull live catalog feeds, pulling your real-time and inventory directly into their warehouses. I'm not saying that they're doing it, but this is a theory that I'm coming up with, man. And this is what they're doing, you know. They got your data. If you're using their POSs, they got your data. They understand where you're at. The data double dip. Suppliers see which regions are hot to adjust pricing instantly like that. POS companies see the exact labor rate you and your competitors can tolerate. The suppliers knows what you sell. The POS knows what you pay. Like it's all systemized, man. You know, and this is wondering why what's going on with me, you know, and then you're gonna pay for some guru, and you're gonna, you know, charge them. They're gonna charge you up the ass, like, oh, go into my get your shop better, you know. I'll teach you how to make your shop from 10,000 to 20,000. This video is not about this. This video is about showing you what's going on. You know, I'm not telling you how to make your store from 65% to a 10%er. You know, I'm just showing you. I don't want to be that guy. You know, well, you told me this is how. No, I don't want to be that guy. I don't. I really don't, you know. You know, because then I'm going to be liable, and then be like, well, you told me this is how it works, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, I just want to show you, I want to open you guys' eyes. The video is about opening you guys' eyes and what's really going on. That's really what it is about. Okay, and I don't mean to scare you guys, and I don't mean to make this be a downer or anything, but this is what it's all about. You know, this is what's going on. The franchise's data advantage. They, you know, it's a network ecosystem. Franchises like CPR, they don't just use a POS. They use a data-driven systems. They know exactly what to charge and which parts to buy to guarantee profits. They know exactly what parts are coming. They're going to be going for their demographics. You know, the systems as a product, you aren't buying the name. You're buying a stack that connects insurance claims directly to the repair bench. You own the customer before they walk in. So that's the advantage of being on a franchise, you know. But is it all, you know, roses and rainbows? Not really. POS is a market radar. They're aggregator data loophole. This is just really crazy, you guys. The information asymmetry, you see your four walls, like, you know, like whatever you see, whatever, as a store owner, the POS sees the entire map. They analyze and de-identifies the trends. They see the high profit zip codes. So whatever zip code you're in, they know which zip codes is the heated maps, you know. The extra strategy. The POS literally holds the proof of life of your business. The POS knows your numbers, your everything, you know. And then buyers look at repair desks at analytics first. Like if you're to sell your business as an independent, because I sold businesses before. What are they going to look at? They're going to look at your numbers. I want to see the receipts, man. Show me show me the receipts, my friend. Show me the receipts, buddy. You know, what are you going to show them? Your POS numbers. You know? KPI monitoring. What are KPI monitoring? Your key performing indicators. What is the ones that are like what's hitting? iPhone 11 just like dragged down. What's the next thing? Oh, it looks like iPhone 13s are hot in the market. Like, whoa, dude. They already know that. They know this information. POS companies track inventory turnover and ticket averages to build best practice playbooks. They know exactly which zip codes have the highest margins. Market radar. If 10 independent shops in a 5-mile radius see a 20% spike in an iPad repair, and this is just an example, that's a massive signal for a franchise to move in and take over the underserved territory right next to your door to you. That means they'll, like, if they know that you're in a hot spot, a franchise is going to look at that spot and be like, dude, this spot is really good. Let's take over that spot. Let's move these guys out and let's, like, that is effed up, man. And I know some of you are doing that. I really know some of you guys are doing that. You already know that information. You know you're gonna do that, and you know you're gonna push out the little mom and pops. Sorry, 65%er, you were not prepared. That's why I call this the shark empire, because you guys are sharks. I know that's what you guys are gonna do. You guys are the sharks. This, look, the heat map scouting advantage. No more guessing. Of course not. Franchises use heat maps of thousands of data points. They know where a $1,200 refurbished iPhone will sell before they even sign the lease. Like, they know this is the spot. Where did he get the database? Well, it's through the suppliers and through the POS. They got the aggregated information from them. The Asurion factor. They know the screen is broken before this customer walks in. They know the customer life cycle. And each life cycle of a customer could be valued at $1,000 to $2,500 just by one customer. One customer. That's wild. That's wild that one customer can be that for you. That's why you don't ever want to leave your customer, because that's the valuable worth of that one customer through your life cycle. Not a lot of repair shops know that, but that's the truth. Why do you think AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, they're like, that's my customer? So this is the overall summary. The 2026 power dynamics of the control. It's like it's all controlled. We got the suppliers that control the margins. We got the POS systems that control the data. And then you got the franchises that are controlling the competition. Independent shops are franchises without the benefits. This is the summary. Really. Sorry, I'm just testing my mic here. I was about to freak out. I'm just taking a little break, I'm just taking a little break, Okay. Making sure my voice was working. Let's go on to the next point. Consolidation. What's going on with your repair shops? So if this is happening, if the repair shops are really being hurt by all this, by all this, right? All that's going on right there. What's happening to mom and pops? What's going on? The consolidation wave, anatomy of market hollowing, and the shark response. Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Closed. Closing up shop. That's it. You are hosed, my friend. You know, you are, as what they say, cooked. That's it. You know, like, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Like, I try to look at the positives, but this is what's really going on. I want to bring awareness to you guys. The smartphone repair market is projected to reach $22.66 billion in 2026. It's growing. Yet individual survival is at an all-time low. 1 year failure. 20% of new independent shops closed within the first 12 months due to cash flow mismanagement. 5-year failure. 50% of shops failed to reach their 5th anniversary, hit by the tech obsolescence wall. And 10 years, if you've been in this business with 10 years, 65% of you businesses shutter or pivot as owners, reach a burnout stage of stagnation because of margins. You know, are being burned out. The industry failure, personal household repairs. The repair sector historically faces the highest attrition in small businesses. In 2026, the mom and pop ceiling is becoming a floor for failure. 20% fail within the first 12 months. Like I just said, I'm just on repeat. Reality check. Most shops aren't businesses. They are high stress jobs for the owner that disappear the moment the owner burns out. You know? This is a paradox of growth. The repair market grows at 8% annually, yet the survival gap for individual owners is becoming a chasm. 65% of shops are zombie stores, technically open but effectively insolvent, unable to scale or weather economic shocks. Like, for real. Like, let me bring that up to light. Like, what does that mean? The zombie shops, you're just afloat. You're not progressing. You're not dying. You're not closing. You're just living paycheck by paycheck. You know, you're just living by paycheck. You're surviving every month. Like, God dang, I just made it another month. Oh. You know, like, oh man, April's gonna come around. I just barely made it with all my bills, and I know, I feel it. We all feel it. 65% of you are feeling it. Like, it's crazy, man. You know, this is it. 20% of you, like, that's it. Closure rate within the first month. 40% of you are going to close. After 10 years, 65% of you are not even, you don't even either burned out or maybe not. You figured it out and you did it. You know, this is modeled from 2021 to 2026. So I'm getting the report from that time frame. Okay, let's take a look at this. The 5-year independent model. Same thing. Remaining shops out of like if there's 100 shops, right? They're the same chart, by the way. Remaining shops of 100. You know, like by the 10th year, only 34 of you survived. You know, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. You started the year strong, and now, like, by the time the 10th year hit, who really are the survivors? You know? How the Sharks adapts. You know, this is just telling you how the Sharks did it, you know? The 65% of shops are failing because they're sell repairs to people who are being sold to upgrade to carriers. You know, Shark Move, AI persona instant booking. You know, like, so these AIs are being built now. They're taking over. You know, like if you have the AI it's gonna benefit you. You know, more on that later. This is the statistic reality. The forced reaction matrix. Quota shopping. You know, like, dude, don't you get at that time when customers are like shopping around and they wanna shop for the best quote? You know, we all been there. Lowest prices race to the bottom. You know, OEM lockdown turn the you know the customer's gonna turn away. It's too much, too much. You know, and carrier trade-ins will you're gonna lose your customer entirely. You really are. You know, carrier trade-ins, like you're not gonna do carrier. 65% of you are not gonna do carrier trade-ins. Like, what the heck? Demographics stays a fix-it shop. That's I couldn't figure out nothing else. But the 10%ers, the real like elites. This is what the elites are doing. They're using AI persona for instant booking. They're using academic certification. People like they're certified, right? You know, they got a trade-in hump. They got like some type of lease-to-own type of product or bundle or whatever program. You know, I put a SEMA there, but there's other LTOs that you can partner up with. A SEMA is just like one of the most popular ones. And creates a tech lifestyle for the brand. They created a brand lifestyle for their clients, their customers. You know, their customers are coming in because they have like a type of brand built for their store. You know, they got it. They know their customers so well. They figured it out. You know, how do you get there? How do you make 50,000 to 80,000? That's the 10%er. You know. The barely making it. 65% of you guys we're barely making it. Sad, I know. Sucks. So the stagnation trap. 2 out of every 3 shops currently in operation are failing, achieving net margins above 8%. There are digital islands fighting an income tide of industrial consolidation. It sucks. You know, this is the survival rate. You know. Like, this is like the average survival rate. Franchise locations, you know, not only just independent shops, but franchises are losing it too, you know, but this is the success rate. You know, the success rate of the independent shop is about 45%. The success rate of the franchise is 82%. So they'll lose some locations, but they have a higher success rate, you know. The primary moat, luck and late hours. And what do I mean by luck? Like, you know, what do I mean by luck? So you got a visitor from out of town. He's doesn't live in your zip code. He's like, okay, you know, I broke my phone. I'm like, oh man, I'm in an emergency. I need my phone fixed like now. I can't go to Apple because they're gonna take like 4 hours to go through my insurance claim. And where's Apple anyways? There's like nowhere to be found. And then my insurance claim is gonna take 2 days. I need my repair to be done now. So luckily, you as a shop owner was around when he was around, and you took that repair in. And then late hours, you're gonna be wanting to be open after hours than your competitors. You know, that's another draw. But the franchises, they have interoperability and leads. You know, they can work. They already have a system in place. The 37th survival delta is driven by infrastructure server sovereignty. You know. So this is a handful right here, you guys. This is the handful. And trip out on this. Since the POS provider sees 1,500 cancellations annually. 1,500 cancellations. Like, you know what a cancellation is? That store's dropping off. They're racing to automate your survival to save their own valuations. Like, dude, yeah. Like, these POSs, they're like, dude, you know? Like, let's think about it. Like, I'm a POS guy. You know, I got your data, but now it's like I'm shooting myself in the foot now, because my main lifeline, which is you, the 65%, I need you to be alive. You know? So I'm like trying to figure out how to be proactive for you. Okay? New store openings. Yeah, we're getting new store openings like 1.5 multiplier. So about 500 stores are opening per year. Okay? 500 stores are opening per year. In 2026, retail closures are outpacing new store openings by nearly 50% in the service sector. Like, dude, you know, there's 1,500 stores closing year over year. Approximately 1,200 to 1,800 independent shops are just like calling it quits. That's it. I'm waving my flag. That's it. Like, dude. The heck. So, yeah, I'm tossing the white flag. That's it. Because yeah, we're opening new shops because people are excited. They're coming in with new like strategies or 22.6. Yeah, baby. But this is the reality. The net loss. While franchises are opening 50 units, the market loses 300 mom and pop shops. In the same window. Closures are currently outpacing openings by 1.5% across all US. A massive consolidation of volume is moving toward the top of 10%. That's why the 10% are going to be, they're going to eat you up. They're going to take over that store that you had. They're going to open that store location, or they're going to buy you out or whatever, and you're going to be like, all right, I just want to get out, give me just like 10,000 as a golden parachute. I would just say a silver parachute at that point, because it's not. I would say a golden parachute would be like anything above $100,000. A silver parachute. It sucks. Sucks. Hey Daryl, how you doing? Welcome to my show. So yeah, you guys, like I said, 1,500 shops are just like closing down. 500 shops are opening up year over year. Like, dude, this is what's happening. I'm sorry to tell you all this. This is just crazy. Top 5 closure triggers. This is what's triggering you why you're closing. This is why 1,500 shops are closing every year. Semiconductor prices are hyperinflated. Parts are going crazy. Who knows what's gonna happen? Lockouts, parts pairing. Like the find my. No, I'm sorry, not the find my. The genuine parts message. Whatever on the Apple. And subscription, bypassing the search for local repair. Like, dude, insurances is killing you. The ecosystem crisis, inventory risk, supplier needs volume velocity. 1,500 closed shops represent millions of lost recurring orders. Proactive suppliers are pivoting to shark partners. MMR churn, like the SaaS companies like which is the POS providers, are valued in a monthly recurring revenue. Every closure is a hit to their valuation, forcing them to automate for your survival. Like, dude, like the POSs want you to keep your store. They don't want you to close. Who else don't want you to close? The suppliers. Suppliers, you think, who are they gonna sell to if you're not alive? Like, for real. Yes, that's in the US, Daryl. That is in the US. It sucks. Survival support. The bread and butter is burning. What is the bread and butter? The 65%. We 65%ers that are barely making it are your bread and butter for your POS and the suppliers. To market the force efficiency into remaining shops before they hit the burnout. Like, dude, that's it. The death triggers. This is an economic cliff of 2026. You know, raising tariffs, chip inflation, diagnostic lockdowns. Like, dude, you know, interception repairs versus upgrades. Like 65% are failing because they're all trying to sell repairs to people who are being sold to upgrades. Like, you know, that's what it's going to. The emergency shutter screen repairs. Like, yeah, 150 crisis repair. Yeah, you know, like you got that, but the carrier interception, they trade in a broken screen, they get the $100 credit. Like, whoa, cool, awesome. And yeah, independent, you lose $150 repair. Like, you lose your customer life cycle. You know, living on a wage. This is what 65% of you, like I just said. I'm repeating this over and over because this is really what's happening. You know, living on a wage, owners operations take less than $50,000 a year. And how you and the economy can't support $50,000 a year anymore? How? You know, you're barely making it month after month for 65% of you guys, for all of us. 1 month runaway, a single bad batch of aftermarket screens or a 500 a rent hike triggers immediately insolvency. Like, dude. Yeah, dude. How many of you guys have just like, damn, we just got that bad part. We have to return it. You lose your customer, and the customer's all pissed, and you're like, oh shit. And then, you know, what if your lease, they raise your rent? You're done. You know, market composition, the failing middle. Like, this is it. You know, this is the percent. So the supplier margin squeeze. This is the 80%. This is again. I'm just reiterating myself. The top 6 suppliers are algorithms to ensure your landing cost is identical as the guy across the street. The guy across the street from you is getting the same part, the same, and charging the same price. It's like there's stagnation. It's stagnation. You're not a business. You're a high-paid assembly worker for the parts company. That's really what you are. You know? Again, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. That's wild. The race to the bottom, it really is. The race to the bottom. You know, undercutting drops screen by $10. You know, that's what we do. Lead buying pays $15 per click on a Google. Like, how many of you guys have charged or paid for a Google review? You know, and extended hours. You're going from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and some of you guys 10 p.m. You know, shit, I've been there. You know, the results is that labor cost eats the emergency profit, the CAC exceeds repair profit, and competitors match or margins die. You know, that's what your competitors do. You know, the AI chip, we all know what's going on. The independent shop is no longer competitive against the guys across the street. They are competing against the supply chains, algorithms, and insurance ecosystems. That's really what's going on, and that's my quote right there. Oh shit! Sorry, I had my finger on the thing. Market interception. High-speed auctions, the answer gap. You know, zero decision service, AppleCare. You know, I'm just reiterating myself. Let's skip through. Let's cut through the meat here. You know, carrier trade-in dominance, upgrades over fixes. Okay. Gosh, carriers returned billions to consumers in trade-ins in the last year. 7 out of 10 people would rather trade in their broken phone for $1,000 credit to pay a $300 fix than pay a $300 fix. That's 6.4 billion dominance. People are upgrading their phones. 7 out of 10 people are upgrading their phones. That's where we're at. You know? Generation Alpha. Let's think about it. You know what Generation Alpha is, you guys? These are the kids. These are our future. Our future. These are the kids that were born in 2010. And they're about to... these kids... These kids are joining the workforce, you know? These kids are joining the workforce now. If those kids were born in 2010, they're joining the workforce now. They're 16. They have every right to work. And from here on out, all the way to 2030, millions of these kids are going to be joining the workforce. They're going to start making that dough. Even either that or AI just replaces their jobs. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't want to tell you what the future is going to bring, and I'm not going to be telling you this AI is going to just take your job or whatever, because I'm not going to be that guy. But I am going to say that, judging from the past, there's millions of new age workforces joining the workforce year over year. And it's about what, 2 million Americans, or I forget what the statistic is, but I didn't put that down. But guaranteed to you guys that there's about, within 5 years, genuinely about 10 to 30 million U.S. Americans are going to join the workforce, and that's Gen Alpha. These 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, by the time that they're gonna, what are they gonna do with all that money? I'll tell you guys what I did when I was 17 years old, and I started getting a paycheck. The first thing I did as a 17-year-old, I got my first Xbox 360. I got my PlayStation 3. I was going crazy buying all the Nintendos. I was buying up all the video games I wanted because I can finally afford my toys. That's what I was doing at 2017 with my first job. What are these kids gonna do? What dumb money are they gonna be spending it on? And that's a market that you guys may be missing out. Younger, and this is what they're going to be doing. Younger demographics are going to prioritize convenience. One-stop shop, simplicity over specialized tech labor. They aren't looking for a fix. They're looking for a resolution. The secondary market for refurbishing devices is growing 22%. They're going to be wanting to afford refurbished product. While the repair stagnates. These kids, we're in an era where we're like, we can't even if the 17-year-old, 16-year-old start getting a paycheck, you think they're gonna be able to afford a $1,500 phone? No. You guys better stock up your refurbished product, make it cheaper for everybody, because and I'm not just talking about the kids that are going to be joining the workforce. I'm talking about for everybody, because times are changing. World War III is happening. To some of you, it's already happened. I don't know. It's some dire stuff that's going on. The luck factor. If you're lucky, luck arbitrage, betting rent on a customer breaking a phone the exact moment they can't wait for Apple. Friction arbitrage, winning because Apple takes 4 hours and you take 20 minutes, but Apple is closing the gap. Mobile threat, franchises vans coming to a customer's house kills a local shop, proximity advantage. But that's 15% of you. So, but this is you're just picking up the scraps, literally. Arbitrage is dying. Simplified deductibles. Exhaustion. Mom and child trade in 80 hours of their life per week for a 5% net margin. You cannot scale exhaustion. You can only survive until you burn out. That's it. Mom and pop 6 5, which is 65% of you guys, one-time labor fee, wait for a break. You're instead of being proactive, we're reactive. Literally, that's really all we are. We're all of us mom and pa's. We're all reactive. We react when something happens. Google Ads, we spend money on Google Ads. Like what? So, yeah, I don't want to get into 10 percenters, but yeah, man. I'm just trying to paint. I guess I've been on like rambling for more than an hour painting the dire picture for you guys. I can go on and telling you guys like this is really what's happening. It's a real thing. So this is what's happening. The consolidation moats at 65% shutter or close down, the prime real estate and local SEO relevance are up for grabs. Like, dude, hell yeah. I'm going to want to buy, I'm going to eat your location where you're at, and I'm going to take it over. Sharks doesn't open new stores. They acquire the zombies and integrate them into their own interoperable loop. Like, that's what's going to happen. One guy's gonna swoop in, and you need to take all, and you're probably gonna selling them like $5,000 for a shop, just because they're that in debt or something. So, AI persona. I'm gonna get into the AI in a little bit. We don't want 1,000 customers. We want 1,000 kings. Supplier motto 2026. Yeah. So, this is what has to be done. And I'm going to go walk into you guys what has to be done, And I know I went on the past hour just rambling on what's because it's true. This is what's happening. So now let's shed some light on some positivity, okay? Let's shed some light. Let's see what we can do as the as positivity, like what can we do? AI, the zero miss revenue guard. So AI could help us out. Okay? And I'll tell you how. If a POS system, I know I painted a pretty bad picture on the POS systems and they're taking your data. But you need them, you guys. You really do. Without a POS system, how are you going to run the shop? How are you going to remember? With your brain? Are you going to be writing paper receipts or whatever for your customers? Paper waivers or disclosures every time a customer comes in? No. You're going to want a POS to manage all that stuff. You want to have record of everything. Or else how else are you going to do it? Sad, but you got to do it. So the real question is, who are you going to do it with? That's the real question. Which POS system are you going to choose? I'll tell you the POS system I'm going to choose. And I'll tell you that at the end of the video. But essentially, I'm going to choose this kind of POS. Okay? Because we're dying. And the POS needs us. The suppliers needs us. The 65%. We can't just die out. If they want to survive and we want to survive and we want to live in harmony, what can a POS system do for us to be proactive? So the POS will create an AI persona, okay, which is a 24/7 operating manager for your store. It addresses the 18% of missed calls that go unanswered, reclaiming monthly in losses. 18%. If a POS can integrate with your store and help you with your customers by giving them callbacks, reaching out to your customers. If they can do that for you, that's being a POS that's proactive for you. Like, for you. Like, that would be golden. That will help you out so much. You know? So now it makes sense. Like, heck yeah, sign me up. If you can help me with some customers, like, come into my door by calling them with your AI persona, great, I'm all in. I'm 1,000% in. That's the POS system that I'm going to be subscribing to. They're going to answer your calls, your text, your portal inquiries, real-time inventory. They're going to know what you have your inventory in, and automatic appointment bookings, and they're real-time like notifications to you or to your phone. You know, that's the POS I'm subscribing to. Heck yeah, I want a POS that like that. A deep leak system, and I don't know if there's a POS system that's out there that's doing this already. But if you are, I'm going to do a big shout out to the ones that is, or at least trying to, because there's POSs out there that it doesn't cut it, you know. So unified data sovereignty. The POS shares critical data points with the franchises and suppliers. This isn't just a record, it's a closed circuit synchronization. What it should do is the POS acts as the conductor, ensuring that its supplier's warehouse matches the shop's live technician schedule. Like, they should really help out the mom and pops. Check-in optimization and experiences, the frictionless entry. AI persona populates the ticket fields based on the initial conversation. By the time the customer arrives, the repair is 50% check-in complete. Like, the POS AI persona has already developed a relationship with your customer. The customer's already sold. It reduces the walk-in time by 5 to 10 minutes, and it feels like it's concierge feeling. Like ooh, you're going for new clothing. Like, ooh, you know, I feel a little special. You know, I'm just acting as a customer. Smart follow-ups, you know, like, yeah, dude, churn prevention. You don't want your customer to churn and go up to wherever else they're gonna go off to. You know, whether it's a competitor, AT&T, Verizon, doesn't matter. You know, the POS has to proactively help you. Unbooked lead retrieval. AI persona identifies customer who asked for a quote but didn't book it. Automates a follow-up at like a text message or whatever, 2 hours later, whatever, you know. Dynamic winbacks to trigger 10% same-day repairs, coupon customers, whoever hesitate on the price. Yeah, heck yeah, sign me up. Defensive tactical intelligence, competitors and spam blocking. Like, dude, you know, how many times does our shops get so many spam calls? You know, or a competitor like trying to get a quote, a fake quote, to know what you're charging. How many times have we gotten a call from our competitor asking for our prices? You know, fake leads. So the POS should be proactively learning who your competitors are and what they're calling with, and especially your spam calls. Your how many times have you gotten that spam call, like scam likely or whatever? Stop telemarketers and competitors from clogging your revenue pipeline. You know, that would be neat. That'd be cool. Feedback loop tool for growth. You know, aggregated insights. The POS sees thousands of stores and it identifies trends before you do. Handheld gaming repairs are up 25% nationwide. You know, that's a real thing, you know. The retro market is huge. You know, video game is huge, and there's a huge market in video games repairs that, man, my goodness, like, you guys, we're missing out. Let me put it in perspective. Cell phone repair stores are all about cell phone repair, but they missed out a target audience demographic of video gamers. And if you're a video game store, I would urge you or suggest to open up to phone repair store. Like, You should be interoperable because in my eyes, I don't see no difference between a video game store and a cell phone store. I really don't. I'm sorry, I just don't. But that's my opinion. You know, that's my opinion. Proactive knowledge base. The system automatically prompts you to update AI persona knowledge base and latest niche repair pricing. So basically, whatever niche is happening, it'll update you. It'll tell you like, hey, this is what's happening. Why the POS partner is the brain. Like literally, like if I'm gonna subscribe to a POS, the POS needs to be like my an employee, an artificial employee. Like there's no, I'm hiring an employee, a pretty smart, intelligent employee that you know that's doing all my bookkeeping, doing making sure all my numbers are good, making sure all my customers are taken care of. Being proactive with my customers. That's what the POS should be. You know, the supplier is the body. Of course, we need the supplier. We have no choice. Who else are we going to go to? The POS is the brain intelligence. It manages relationships, the cash flow, and the strategy. If the brain is proactive, the entire store organism moves with intent, not just reaction. That is how we get help. And I know it's hard for all of us. I know it. I know it. That's the kind of POS I'm going to be subscribing to. Parts on demand, they like they'll auto trigger. Like, dude, like the parts arrive via drone. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Courier the same time as the parts. So it's all logistics. Relative to everything. A micro hub for everything that's being triggered. More on that later. High dynamic profit optimization for 5 people search for 16 screen iPhone 16 screen repair in your city in 1 hour. The POS adds that $10 express slot. Like this is just an example, but basically the POS will know that somebody's searching for you right away, and it'll alert that potential customer like, hey, come over here. We'll do an express slot for you to get the hook for that customer. Tech benchmark gamification, automated management, track time to repair, the return rate of all your techs. Like the POS will know how your technicians are. They want to see how your performance is. Predictive churn re-engagement, the maintenance economy. The POS knows the battery life cycles of repaired devices. 6 months after a screen fixes, it triggers a battery health check. Like, hey, customer Joe, you came for a screen repair, but in 6 months from now, you're going to get a text message saying, as a reminder, that your battery needs to be replaced. Like, it's a real deal. That's cool. And then it's going to make your customer come back. So, yeah, that's great. Franchise load balancing, optimizing network capacity. A store is slammed by store B is empty. The POS detects this and prompts AI to offer customers $15 instant service discount to visit the empty store. Like, this is the way that it pivots from a franchise to you. Like, the POS will know that the franchise is overloaded, can't take any more. So the POS AI persona is gonna send the work to you. It keeps everything balanced, and it creates an industry credit score. Like the POS is gonna know how well you are through your performance as a store. So that's great. It's gonna advocate for you. So much that the POS can do. Gen Alpha. This is another great thing that the POS can do. And excuse me, you guys, but let me just get a cable here because my guy is dying. I'm hoping that I'm bringing up some good solid points, because this is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this live video. In any case, the media magnet, you aren't a repair shop. You're a media company that fixes tech. You can be that. TikTok reels are essential, capturing the attention of Gen Alpha. I'm not just talking about Gen Z, Gen Alpha. These kids, those iPad kids born in 2010, now 16 years of age, joining the workforce and will be your next customer for the next 5-10 years. Native handheld users with ASMR, for example, modding and high-res transformations. Like, dude, these are gonna be your customers. If you're in business, this is the customer base that you need to focus on, and your current marketplace, like Gen Z. So it'd be nice for the POS to teach, have a like an academy through the POS system, like to teach you how to repair. That'd be great. Interoperability across everything. Between the POS system, the supplier, and the repair shop owner. That'd be great. Interoperability through everything. Social media, POS appointment booked, stock low at hub, supplier, repair starts. It should be all automated, and it will be automated. And the POS system that does this the first will be the winner on this race. Sync is the ultimate moat. You got to be biologically faster. A competitor can buy your tools, but they can't buy your integration. The operation with zero latency inventory and unified brain logic, the parts move because the customer moved. You turn the supplier warehouse into a own back room. Like that is the key of interoperability. The missing link. The headless POS systems, open APIs that allow AI person. This is a good one, you guys. Let me stop here for a bit. Open APIs that allow AI persona subscription-based own sovereign or /owned sovereignty to write to other application supplier carrier CRM. You know what that means? This is some freaking mind-blowing stuff, you guys. So, say my name's Jase, right? I have Jase's store, okay? And I got a POS that has an AI persona. The AI persona is called Mary. I know Mary. And the only reason why that one came up to head because a buddy of mine developed that AI named such. But get this, I'm a tech store, right? I subscribed to your POS system. So I've subscribed to your AI persona named Mary, right? But you know what? Let me pause you there. I have my own AI persona. My own AI persona named TARS will connect to your API POS and communicate with your Mary. So TARS, my AI persona, is now communicating on the same frequency language with your AI Mary. And I know a few of us are gonna. There's gonna be a few of us that are gonna create our own AI personas because it's the only way forward. We have to start creating our own AI personas. Whatever ChatGPT, Claude, whatever it is that they're coming out, it's like the headline right now. Grab your own Mac Mini, build your own system. What are you building? God, I can just go off. Anyways, you're gonna be building your own AI persona. Mine is gonna be called TARS. TARS is gonna communicate with your AI persona called Mary, and we're gonna be conglomerates. You know, that would be great. I would love for my AI persona to communicate with your AI persona so that it makes for a good partnership. There's no other way of saying it. So webhooks, the nervous system, instant triggers, repair, finish, auto marketing, supply billing. You know, Delta Lakes, Control Dashboard, the Shark's Nest, monitoring all 10 stores. Like, you'll be able to monitor all your stores. And Smart Lockers, enable micro hubs for unstaffed part distributions. Okay, so I'll talk about more smart lockers in a little bit because Amazon has smart lockers and they're like little micro hubs. You can find them in different weird places. Like, dude, I've seen like, if you go to Ross, have you guys ever gone to Ross and you're like, what the heck? There's a locker of Amazon to pick up your shipments. Like, that's cool. What if a supplier could do the same? Haven't you guys ever thought of that? Like, dude, more on that later. You know, break the wall garden, guys. Like, just break it. Suppliers and POS providers want to keep the wall garden locked up. The demand is interoperability. That is the future for all of us. You know, this is how we're gonna survive and make it, and succeed if God deems it to be. If they don't sync, they don't scale with you. If they don't sync, they don't scale with you. So I want to be subscribed with the POS that's able to sync with my business as a true partnership, and also the supplier as well. You know, another thing to touch onto. You know how hard it is to create your own. You have your own business and create your own social content. It's very damn hard. It's pretty damn hard. Like, if you have a camera, this is a GoPro, by the way. I'm using, by example sake, a GoPro. And I'm going to be recording. It's easy to record, by the way. Recording your techniques, recording your repair process, recording your marketing strategies, all easy. The hard part is the editing. What if I can sync up to your POS that I'm subscribed to with Mary, your AI persona that's called Mary, and your AI persona and POS helps me not only edit the video, but distributes the video across all social platforms. That would be game changer, you guys. Like, if that is possible, that would be great. You know, I'm just saying. But I know the technology is going to be there. I know it. And the POS that can do that, my lord, I'll help you develop it. If hire me, please. I would love to help you try to figure that part out. I don't know. This would be great. This would be awesome. You know, so tag leads, content equals cash. If you make content, that makes money for your store, obviously. You know, the hardest part is facilitating your own content. That's really hard. Posting it on Facebook, Instagram. You know, it's hard. It's a scramble on its own. You know. Content equals cash. Stop hoping your posts work. Verify every dollar spent through the POS attribution. Yes. That's how it should be done. You know, stock up signal trigger, stop pre-stocking attention. Like, the POS will know. You know. And let me see. Owner creator versus POS facilitator. Yeah, your job is to create content, film the authentic high margin transformations, upload the raw footage to the POS portal. The POS job facilitate the AI automated editing, Mary, training audio, geo tagging, and syndication across all your stores. I put 10 stores. I don't know. Anyways, heck yeah. Closed loop marketing host. Smart syndication. POS knows your inventory. If you're out of screens, it pauses. It pauses the screen's ads and pushes the retro. So if the POS system knows that you're out of stock on one thing, it'll stop pushing the ads on that certain item, and it'll address something that you do have stock on. I'm out of 16s, but I'm gonna put an ad out that I have 15s in stock. Like, it's just an example of what this is capable of. Now let's talk about the supplier, because we've been talking about the POS. Let's talk about the supplier, the industry kingmaker. Why I choose the supplier, dude? The supplier is the heart. The supplier is the body. They're like number one. The shop owner fights for the customers. The POS owners fights for the code. The supplier sits in physical infrastructure of the entire trade. That's why the suppliers are king. Ownership of the supplier chain is ownership of the industry operating system. And if you're the supplier that's interoperable with my needs, then I'm going to be your subscriber. So if, like I just talked about, the Amazon micro warehouse, if you're a supplier, I don't want to, I'm sorry, that 1 day turnaround of shipping and handling is not good enough. I'm sorry to say it, is not good enough. I want you to make a micro hub in my local zip code and have the best, the best top 50 parts on that machine. Just in case I don't have them, I can go to your micro hub and pick it up. I'll do like whatever punch in, I'll purchase the part, and this micro hub is only for business owners, that's already subscribed to you. If you're a subscription, if I'm subscribed to you and your network of supply chain, and you have these, sub micro units that I can have your parts readily available, I'm all in, and your system will already know what's coming in and out. Makes the whole process easier. That way I can make my repair same day. Yeah, it'll take a little bit. Maybe driving up there will take me 30 minutes, picking up the part, another 30 minutes going back to my shop. But at least I got the customer secured. That's all that matters. The customer's crying, I want my repair done today. Oh, woe's me. If you are able to make a micro hub, it will be start like with at least start with a what do you call it? What's like a test, like a beta test. Choose a metropolitan area and beta test the damn thing. That'd be great. Solving the 2-day delay, automate. It should be high security, of course. Place it in within 15-mile radius of all the repair shop clusters of your customers. Zero latency, regional dominance, and it's going to work great for all of us. Great for you, great for me, and we're going to keep buying from you. Heck yeah. The shadow warehouse, local, hyper local speed. Of course. Heck yeah. I'm not saying to create another big ass warehouse. I'm just saying that if you can put the top 50 SKUs that that moves, as an example, put it in a micro place. That's gonna work. 45-minute promise. Order at 10 a.m. Repair bench at 10:45. The Uber style delivery. Maybe have little bots or Uber style deliveries coming. Like, dude, that is gonna be the future. I'm telling you, the supplier that does this is gonna win. Consignment lending or credit lending. I don't know if consignment lending is going to work or credit. I'm just throwing out ideas, you guys. On a pay on install, that'd be great. We lend to a curated kit to your shop. You have the image, because dude, we're the 65%ers. We're dying, man. But it also that's why I put that little hand right there, because that's a lot of trust. You have the inventory, and the POS system, the brain will know who to trust. So they'll know like, hey, this is a trusted store, you know, whatever. But haven't paid on cent yet. POS integration. When the technician scans the part into ticket, the wholesale cost is automatically deducted from the transaction. So, for example, when they lend the part to you, you sell the part through repair to a customer, and you scan it, you make the money. You don't get paid right away. Everybody gets paid their cuts. You, the supplier, the POS, whatever. How it's all distributed. I'm just throwing out scenarios. And zero capital risk on you, the store owner. That'd be great. The lend to live model. The 50 inventory, managed liquidity, most popular. I would just, the lending part, great, whatever. But to me, the local micro hub, that would be the killer. That would be the killer. Embedded vendor financing. Like, partnering up with your B2B lenders, offering inventory lines of credit. Yeah, we need credit, as a what do you call it? Independent mom and pop shop, as a 65%er. Yeah. Float your retro mod vault inventory, zero interest promotional periods, seamless repayments on via POS systems. And hopefully that works, predicting the surge. We see the market from 30,000 feet. We know what's breaking before the train is a specific zip code. Yeah, the suppliers should know all this stuff. For example, we're seeing a 40% spike on ROG Ally battery failures and neighboring regions. We've added 5 units to your micro hub. Like, dude, they know what parts you're going to need in your demographic area. Maybe this area wants more iPhone 13s. Maybe this other area is hot with iPads. I don't know, but they know. And the trend casting, 2010 cohort, the native handheld generation is entering the workforce. The demand of mobile PC gaming is gonna these PC gamings are gonna rise, man. It's a niche, and it'd be nice to differentiate yourself as a supplier to carry these niche products. That's gonna take you. You're not gonna be just like the other supplier, carrying these. Everything's gotta be the same part. Dude, this is some. You'll win over. You know what you'll win over? You'll win over video game stores, and there's a percentage of video game stores that repair. And I wish I can get that I wish I can get that metric for you guys. Next time, if you guys want to get that metric, I can hopefully provide that metric later. But there's a percentage of video game stores that are technicians. Not all video game stores are technicians, but there's a percentage of video game stores that are technicians that could be your customer supplier. So I know suppliers are fighting for clients, and they might be losing clients because they're closing down. But if you have video game store owners that do also repairs on video games, that could also be an extra form of a client for you, suppliers. The mod economy, yeah, dude. I'm speaking to the people that are like video game store owners, sourcing a niche, not just screens. We source IPS backlit screen kits. Like, dude, if I was a repair store for video games, I would love you as my supplier. If you can, and there's a percentage of us. Don't just focus on the cell phones. Focus what's also an industry that's already there. And dude, the next best thing is, look at how many GameStops there is. Video games is your next hub. Why don't you put your attention to video game stores that are repairing video game consoles? So profit bundling, where I mean, they're not going to make up your entire. They're not going to be your bread and butter, but dude, it's a percentage. It's a percentage of, like, there's an advantage there. Profit bundling, we provide the kits and turn that $100 Game Boy into a $250 Game Boy. That's for the shop. The shop that does this makes profit. You buy the Game Boy, you put that IPS screen. I'll be right back, you guys. Boom. Here's a Game Boy Advance. You pop in an IPS screen into this guy, and you're golden. You're golden. And this, look how much it costed me. $75. It says right there $100. Turn it into $250 because that's how much they go for. Once you upgrade this guy, that's how much they go for. So, oh, sorry for the freeze. I didn't mean to freeze right there. So, white label marketing kits. Oh, did I miss anything? Well storage. Oh, yes. Oh, I can't believe I almost skipped this part. Well storage, the little diamond thing. Look, I just said it right here. $250. $250. Let me bring something else out. This is an iPhone 10. This is a Game Boy. An iPhone 10, the value of this has degraded so much, it's $100. If you want to go, I'll search it up right now for you. Don't hear me talk. iPhone 10, 64 gigs, unlocked. Shopping. We're shopping. $81. You guys see that? $85. It's less than $100 for a pre-owned iPhone 10. Came out in 2017. This Game Boy came out in 2005. So you mean to tell me, and I bought this for $75. You mean to tell me that a Game Boy that came out in 2004 or 3? Did you come out in 2003? Early 2000s. You mean to tell me I can sell this bad boy with an IPS screen for $250? Hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. And it's an inventory that doesn't depreciate like the fucking iPhone. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Phone-only shops fight over depreciating and screen swaps. Dude, if you have your money, because I know some of you shops have all this phone inventory, and then they're like, "Oh my God, you're squirming now because now what are you gonna do when your inventory is you're $20,000 in your inventory of phones, and your inventory is rapidly depreciating? What are you gonna do?" At least product like this in your storefront will not depreciate. It'll hold your wealth. And not only that, your parts, for suppliers, think about this. For suppliers, your part cost won't drop down, because I know your parts drop in price eventually. But for parts like these, they're always going to sustain. So it works both ways, supplier and repair shop owner. So sell through, not boxes. Mechanical skill ups. Like if a supplier can, like, how do I put this? I don't know if because this, and I already put the scenario where the POS can do like an academy for training technicians, but the supplier can too. What's stopping the supplier from doing that? They can make a master class of expertise. And why would the supplier want to do that? Because they want to keep you in business so that they can keep selling to you. That's why. Circular buyback. Oh yeah, because suppliers going to want to buy these off of you, these cracked glass good LCDs, so that they can refurbish it themselves. That's a no-brainer. You know, will there be challenges? Absolutely. All this is, I'm calling, I'm painting a rainbows and flowers, and it's not it's gonna come with its hurdles. This is not a perfect world. So yes, it is going to be challenging. Shrinking theft. There's going to be theft all the time. RFD tagging and inventory for weekly silent audits and via POS. AI rebalancing. Automatically moves load stock between store hubs. Yes. Dynamic markdowns. Automated flash sales. Stale inventory. Price erosion. So it is going to be challenging. It's not going to be easy. And there's going to have to be a trust factor. The vendor to operating partner, the legacy of the big six, wants to over order. We want you to perform repairs. When our revenue depends on your success, the frictions disappears. We only win if your technicians are busy and your cash register is ringing. Like, damn. Of course. Owning the infrastructure, the final verdict, the supplier is a venture capitalist of the repair world. That's how it's supposed to be. By providing capital infrastructure and knowledge, you scale at a level impossible for a single shop. Of course, infrastructure for the kingmakers. You, as a shop, are the kingmaker. Infrastructure is a moat. The talking world is for the 65%. The sync, interoperability between the POS, the store, the shop, repair shop, and the supplier. Own the brain, own the logistics, own the attention, scale the empire using the suppliers that are working with you. If you're the supplier, if you are this POS, I am subscribing to you. And it's not coming to any surprise that, Tony Shishak has built an incredible POS, my repair app. He is the only one that I can think of subscribing to, and it's not going to be easy for him. He has gone to great limitations and hurdles, but those challenges that because he's facing competition, and the competition is fierce. But I congratulate Tony Shishak for what he's doing with my repair app. And if it's possible integrating the e-commerce Amazon giants, that'd be great. And what was the other one that he was showcasing? Something Wiz. I can't remember. In any case, that's what he's doing is what I've been understanding for quite some time. He's the only one that's. It's not that I'm following him. It's more like I'm realizing this, and it just so happens that he's already hitting those notes that we need as a proactive POS system. Suppliers. There is one supplier that I know that's already trying their best to interoperate with the POS for you. And that's the closest one would be POS of PhonoCD parts. PhonoCD parts is the only one that I can think of. Are all the parts perfect? No, by no means. Do they still get their RMAs in? Yes, of course. Just like any supplier. But if POS of PhonoCD parts could do this and create a micro hub near me, you not only will you take over, you'll be the kings. So for PhonoCD parts, I would love, and I already love what you guys. And the only reason why I love you guys, out of everybody, is because I already built a relationship with you guys. So I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit biased, you guys. I'm a little bit biased towards PhonoCD parts because I've developed a relationship with, and I know what they have on their platform, for their warehouse. I'm shifting gears, and they're having the product and supply that I need for parts for my store. that's catering for me. And these parts that they're carrying little by little is going to be catering to the other markets that are going to be open to repair, not just cell phones, but these video game stores that also do repairs. That market, there's a wider open market that nobody's paying attention to. That's the market that I'm intrigued about as well. So I think this comes to the end of my slideshow. I thankful that you guys, for whoever, if you're here and came to this far, I hope that you guys are doing great. I hope that you guys having a magnificent. I know things are dire, but I hope that things are great for you in this year of 2026. If you're a shop owner that's struggling, if you're a shop owner that finds it difficult moving forward, the writing's on the wall. And I hope this presentation sheds some light on why things are the way they are. And so yeah, that's all I have to say about this video. But yeah, I made the shout outs that I've had to make. If there's any other shout outs that I have to make, Eric Milton, thank you for helping me on phone OCD parts. But again, if you're that supplier that does the micro hub, you may have an edge right there. But I'm pretty sure you guys are going to figure it out. You guys are smart. You guys have an amazing team. And you guys are probably already 5 steps ahead of my thought process. I'm just one guy looking at this through an outside lens or inside lens or whatever. And Tony, you have an amazing team. I'm sure you guys have a good team that is staying on top of everything and is also 5 steps ahead. So yes, I'm hoping that this in the world where interoperability for repair shops, I'm all in. I'm all in it. That would make having a repair store fun again. You know, right? In any case, my name is Jase Anzo. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna be out. You guys have